I just want to say hi to everyone and thanks for joining the sports live session that we've got today. We've got Luke and Jon who are going to talk through some slides and answer all of the questions that you guys have got around sport and studying at Middlesex. So would you guys like to introduce yourself and take things away?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. I'm Luke Oates. I'm an associate lecturer in sport and exercise science at Middlesex University. I've been here since 2019. My kind of specialism areas are physiology, performance analysis, and kind of the research modules.
And I'm John Cree. I'm the Deputy Director of Programmes for the undergraduate programmes at Middlesex, undergraduate sport programmes. And I've been in the university for about 10 years now, and my specialism is strength and conditioning. So I also teach on the strength and conditioning programme and across the rehab programme as well, which is what my first degree was in. So if you've got any questions across any of the programmes, then hopefully I'll be able to answer those for you as well.
Brilliant. I will just stop sharing my screen now and I'll let you guys take over so that you can share your slides.
Okay, just before I start, there are a couple of interactive tasks during kind of our little kind of taster lecture. So if you've got like a pen or paper there, or you can make some notes on your phone if you've got that handy. I'll just give you guys a couple of minutes or a minute or so to get something for that. You might need it for some of the tasks that we're going to do. And then I'll make a start.
If you do have any questions during the presentation, then feel free to type them in the chat, and then I can ask them to Luke as well, because he'll be kind of concentrating on the presentation side of things. So feel free all the way through, and then if you have any at the end about our programs, then I'm happy to go through them as well.
Okay, I'm going to make a start now. Hopefully everyone's got something to make some notes on if you need it for kind of the tasks. So welcome to our taster lecture today, and we're looking at the secret of sports statistics and how our sports statistics are used in elite sport. So kind of our learning outcomes from today's taster session are going to be to understand what performance analysis is, understand how sports statistics are collected and used in elite sports. We're also going to be able to apply some basic performance analysis skills to collect some sporting data in some of the tasks that we're going to use. And finally, to understand and develop key performance indicators within sport and how we use that as a performance analyst. So we might have seen statistics used throughout various different sports. The next few slides are just some examples within different sports. So we might have seen it on football, on Sky Sports. This particular example looking at Fulham last year and where they ranked in terms of kind of their wins, goals scored, and a few other statistics that would have been collected. So we can have that kind of that football angle. You might have seen it watching the Euros. They might have thrown up some statistics during the games. We have it across different sports, so looking at American football and any NFL fans out there, one of the most statistic-heavy sports out there. Constantly throughout the game, they'll be throwing statistics at you. So looking kind of here, we've got a couple of examples, one from the Super Bowl itself, comparing the two quarterbacks, and then we've got comparison of team statistics from New England versus Kansas City from a couple of years ago, from the first quarter by the looks of things. We've got other sports, so some of our lesser known sports, so netball. I work in netball myself, so I work for one of the elite franchises in the UK, and you'll get some nice statistics come up there, and even simpler statistics than some you might see in other sports, so looking at kind of goals scored, a number of shots, our shooting percentages and our defensive statistics, and to compare the two teams on a performance, and we can see where that particular performance may have been won or lost in that example. And anyone that's watching Wimbledon at the moment, or tennis fans, again, you'll see a lot of different statistics thrown out after a match, looking at different kind of performance variables and statistics that might be shown in that particular game. And here's a video example of how they might be presented within rugby in this example, and how they use them during the game to talk about the different performance. Let me just make sure that my get optimize some video clips.
We'll have a look at the stats here. The scrums are null and void as a went to uncontested. Handling errors, 16 for South Africa. One thing that maybe concerns Marcel Erasmus, 13 penalties conceded for Italy, including that red card will really hurt Conor O'Shea. I looked down, the meters made as a telling stat there, 595 for South Africa, 250 just for Italy. They didn't have as much possession. There wasn't a huge amount in it. South Africa won this game physically, and they won it by 49 points to 3.
So that's our example of how it can be used at the end of a game to look at how the different teams performed. And you can see the commentators talking about a few key statistics that differentiated South Africa and Italy in that particular game. And what we might have also seen in particular during football is some video analysis instead of looking at the raw numbers and the raw statistics. And this is quite more popular within the world of sport itself, to show the tactical areas of the games that that coaches might be looking to implement for their players. This is just an example from Monday Night Football, where they were looking at Chelsea versus Man City, and how Chelsea won that particular game during the Premier League this year. So again, I'll just play this video. So we might have seen this quite commonly within football.
This is the game that they get. So as Rodri comes out with the ball now, and again, it's almost a high line. It's almost Tuchel's team's being defensive. No, that's not being defensive. Look at that. 1v1. This player can go. That player can spin in behind. This player's making a run. Watch Azpilicueta. He doesn't care what's in behind him. I'm going to jump onto Sterling. This is what they've been told to do. Forget the strikers. Go in with that player between the lines. That's what Pep likes to do. And because he goes now, because he jumps with Sterling, he's there now to take the ball off Rodri. So the right-sided centre-back is the one who takes the ball off him. He plays it inside, it comes back to him, and he gets the assist to get them at 1-1. But again, highlights exactly what Thomas Tuchel wants from his defenders. This is the winning goal. And when this goal goes in, I'm not sure how anyone else has Gary analysed it on the day, or people after, or other shows. But I think Pep Guardiola is looking at Nathan Ake and saying he drew a foul. Because he didn't do what the Chelsea defenders have done right throughout the game, and what Pep wants his defenders to do, what Diaz has done all season, and John Stones, be on the front foot. So what's the difference? The ball comes wide to Reece James. So straight away, Nathan Ake's not tight enough. He's got to be there. He's got to make Hudson-Odoi go back. The ball comes into Hudson-Odoi. He's allowed to turn. You've got a problem now. And then he still doesn't engage. He lets him turn, run at him. And whatever goes on after that, I'm sure people say, could he have stopped the cross? Nathan Ake doesn't go with the runner. The goal goes in. But at the very start, that's where it comes from. Because the defender wasn't on the front foot and being aggressive. And that is what Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, managers in this league want. And if you're a young defender now, thinking, maybe as we did, we'll sit back here, get a little bit of protection, that is not happening. You have to defend 1v1 and be prepared to jump after people and jump into midfield and leave your other defenders exposed. How do you?
Okay, so that's our video analysis example. So what actually within elite sport, so our statistical analysis and our video analysis is termed under performance analysis. So what actually is performance analysis? So performance analysis is our objective way of recording performance. And so that key elements of that performance can be quantified in a valid and consistent manner. And so we're looking at that objective way of recording performance. Performance analyst, so and my main role in the work I do within netball. So we're mainly looking at examining and improving sporting performance, and mostly through video-based technology, and we can also look to use our statistics to back up what we're seeing in the video. The video and statistical recording gives the coach the ability to view events in an objective manner and to use events as feedback to enhance performance. So from a performance analyst point of view, our main role is looking to improve performance. And we're going to use the statistics and the video to help us do that. So we have our two aspects of performance analysis. So you'll see statistical analysis, also known as data analysis, and we have our video analysis as well. So our statistical analysis, it's generally an objective account of what happened. So by objective, we mean it's kind of factual, so that could be like the number of shots, number of goals scored, number of successful passes, and those sort of statistics. We can use our statistical analysis to evaluate our athletes' performance, and we can compare them over time or compare them to different individuals. We can evaluate our team performance in relation to our team goals. So we might have certain statistics that we look to target. So it might be a number of shots on goal. It might be how much time we're in possession, and all of those sort of different statistics. We can also use our statistical analysis to prepare for opposition. So again, we can see things like number of shots they're having on average in a game. How do they kind of compare against weaker opposition and stronger opposition? How does that kind of work from a statistical point of view? One important thing with our statistical analysis is kind of not to be used as a tool to boost egos or drop players. So effective performance analysis will take that element out of the statistical analysis side of things. So we're not looking to use it and go, oh, you should drop this player because they only had 2 shots on goal. We're not going to look to do it from that point of view, because they might add different parts to the game. They might be more involved in the build-up, for example. From a video analysis point of view, this helps us to provide context for our statistical analysis. So it's all well and good going, okay, these are the stats, but actually what happened on the video itself, and that can kind of provide that context. And, you know, you might see a lot of teams and go, okay, they had 85% of possession, but actually they still lost the game. So you can use the video to go back and go, okay, well, we had all this possession, and how can we use it more effectively to win those particular games? Some of our athletes, they prefer the video analysis to the statistics, so they're more visual learners, and we can use that video to help them improve their performance. Again, we can look at opposition analysis, so we can look at who we're playing next, get some video on them, and look at the different patterns and the different tactics that they look to employ. And finally, video analysis, if we're looking for scouting or talent ID purposes, so looking for the next best players coming through, we can use video to see how these players perform. In terms of the two, there's not one that's better than the other. They're actually best used together and not alone as a single resource. So why do we use performance analysis? We've touched on a few of those already. So we're looking to improve tactics or technique and movement of the athletes. We can identify previous performance strengths and work-ons through using both our statistics and our video feedback. We can look at our opposition to see what they do, to see how we're going to expose their weaknesses, and we can stop their strengths. Performance analysis, it can be used to support training. So we might video training, we might provide some statistical analysis to those training sessions to help the coaches improve their training. We might look to model performance, looking at key performance indicators, and we'll talk a bit more about those later on in this taster lecture. And performance analysis can also aid with our goal setting for our team. So we can look to have particular statistics we're looking to aim for, or particular tactical kind of setups that we're looking for. And finally, our talent identification. So looking for the next best player. And those are some of the reasons why we might use our performance analysis. So what does a performance analyst actually do? So the picture on the right is a kind of an example setup that you might see looking at sporting performance. So we've got our camera and we've got our computer there with some software on to analyze that performance. And you might be able to see that the video feed is going into the laptop. So what the performance analyst will do is they're going to video the performance. We're then going to code, which is using the computer software. So we might be pressing particular buttons about what's happening on court. And that could be like shots, passes, different areas of the court where things are taking place, or different areas in the pitch. Once we've collected all of this data, so when we videoed it and coded it, we can do it live as well as post-match. We're then going to look to provide feedback to our coaches, and then we'll look at the data analysis and look at trends in performance. And we're going to look about how we can improve our performance. So a question for everyone that's on the kind of on this webinar and this taster session, how much of a match do you think a coach can remember? So I'll just give you a minute or so to think about that as a percentage. So looking at a percentage, how much of a match do you think a coach can remember? So if you just type it into the Q&A, and then John might be able to read out some guesses for us.
Don't be shy.
We've got one, we've got a 60% guess. Anyone else want to weigh in on a guess?
I'm going to say 50.
50, John's going for 50. Don't be shy. That's 10 seconds to get in your guess.
Oh, you go. Mainly remember highlights of the game, so maybe 40 to 50%.
40 to 50%.
Lovely. So we got 40 to 60.
40 to 60. So our answer, and this has been looked at in some research from 2008, our coaches can remember around 59% of a game. So our 60% guess on that was pretty close, and I would say bang on there. And there is a bit of a range within this. So within this particular research study, some coaches could remember 36% of the game. Some could actually remember upwards of 77% in a game. So from a performance analysis point of view, actually, we're also helping the coaches to remember that 40% of the game that they may have forgotten. So you might get sometimes where coaches particularly focus on one player that they may have made a really big error, but actually they don't look at the whole picture of the game, and that player may have had a good game. It's just that one particular moment might have cost the team a goal or cost the team some points. But actually, we have to fill in that remaining kind of information for the coach to help them make an objective view of the game. And again, we can use the statistics and the video for that. So I'm just going to run through a bit of an applied netball example. So like I said, I work in netball with one of the elite franchises in the country. Okay. So this is just going to be a video, and I'll talk over it while I'm playing it. So this would be an example of what we're looking at on a match day. So we've got the video in the corner here, and I've got what is called my code window over here. So you've got all the different buttons that I might be pressing during a game, looking at different areas of the court where things are happening, and looking at individual statistics as well as the team. And this is a bit of software that we would look to use, and this is called Sports Code. There are various different other software that you can use as well, but this is the one in this particular case. And what you might see as well, kind of underneath the video, this is our timeline. And this is coding all of our information, and you can see some little boxes that are appearing. And those little boxes are individual video clips, depending upon what buttons I'm pressing during the game. So once we've collected that information, and we can do that live, we can do that post game as well. Within netball, we tend to do quite a lot of information live for the coaches, so they can get that immediate feedback. Okay, so that's just an example of what it might look like. So once we've coded the whole game and we've got all of our information and we've filled our timeline up, this is what it might give us on here. So this is our timeline. And each individual box represents a video clip based upon the buttons I was pressing. So they all have different time limits. They all get turned on and off from the previous video. What this allows our coaches to do is they can watch the game more broken down. So we don't actually have to watch the full game again. They can do if they want to, but what they could do is they could look at all of the, in netball, centre pass is kind of a big key area of possession for us. So our coach could watch all of our centre passes all the way through in a row, and they don't have to watch the whole game to get them all. They could watch all of the goals that we score, or all the goals that the opposition score, all of our turnovers, depending whatever they're interested in, to help improve that performance. And they can see where the game was potentially lost and potentially won from those video clips. So we're going to do a quick statistical analysis task. So this is why I told you guys to get something to make some notes on. So it's a 4-minute video clip from netball. I appreciate you might not necessarily know netball too much. So the statistics we're going to collect should be quite straightforward for us to work out. So we're going to look at the number of goals for each team. And then there's 2 teams. So the team in black is Mavericks and the team in green are Dragons. We're also then going to look for passes attempted into the shooting circle for each team. These could be successful or unsuccessful, so make a note of those. And then we're going to make a note of the turnovers for each team. So when that possession changes hands on court between the 2 teams, okay? So just give you guys time to get your pens out, but we're looking for number of goals for each team, the passes attempted into the shooting circle for each team, and our turnovers for each team. Okay, so I'm going to start the video and you guys can make a note of those particular statistics that we might be collecting. And obviously we can use software, but we can traditionally, like you guys are about to do, use it on pen and paper. Okay, so hopefully we've collected our statistics. So again, just in the Q&A, I'll get John to read these out again. So just note down how many goals you got for each team, passes into the shooting circle for each team, and a number of turnovers for each team, so where the possession changed hands. Again, don't be shy.
Nothing yet, but maybe people are keeping their own things together. So,
Shall we go through the answers, John?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so we should have had 4 goals for the team in black and 3 for the green team. And passes into the shooting circle were 9 compared to 7. And you would have seen a couple of quick passes in and out for the team in black. And we had 3 turnovers for each team, so where the opposition took an interception on that particular task. So looking at, we've collected all this data that we can use. So what can we actually do with the data? We can provide some nice outputs for our coaches and our athletes to improve their performance. So we might start with something simple as looking at the score and how the goals change within each quarter. So in this quarter, the team in blue, they won by 6, and then the team in red came back and won the rest of the quarters to win the game. We can then expand that and look at some of our key team statistics. So within netball, we've got kind of centre pass to goal and our turnover to goal statistics. And we've got that for both teams to look at potentially where the game was won or lost in this particular case. We can then look to provide some more individual information, and we can look at our shooters. So we can look at our shooting stats and look at how accurate our shooters were and whether this impacted that performance. And finally, we can look to put some areas of the court on there and look at where maybe certain things happened. So on these particular examples, we could look at where errors occurred and where we were turning the ball over in particular areas, and where we were feeding the ball into the shooting circle from to our shooters to allow them to score the goals for us, and loads of different statistics that we can look at from that kind of point of view. And that's kind of an example of a team output. We can then break it down and look at individuals, and we can have individual output windows to give to the players and the coaches. And again, we can look at particularly key statistics that those athletes are going to be interested in, or the coaches are interested in for that particular position. So just another task. So I've got a video clip here, and it's kind of what do you see? So again, in the Q&A, if you can just type down anything that you might notice from a kind of statistical, from a video analysis point of view. So anything that you might notice. I'll play it through twice, and it's just a short clip this time. Okay, so that's our first run through, and I'll play it through one more time. Okay, so again, in the Q&A box, just note down anything that you might have noticed. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go on and show you what a performance analyst might see in this particular example. Okay, so if we just go out of there. Okay, so this screen at the moment is the same video clip, and I've just put on some comments on the right-hand side, and also some drawings that you'll see as we come through. So this is what a performance analyst might see about this particular clip. And we can use this to help us improve our performance for next time we play this opposition or our next game. Okay, so the first one, we're looking at our wing attack and our goal attack setup, and they're setting up one off this red line here, and one is on the line as well. So this player's closer to the line. You then play it through. Our next comment, we're looking at the opposition here. So defensively, our opposition players, all three of our defenders are coming over this line to set up defensively, and their attackers are doing a good job on our defenders coming through as well. So we might struggle to get the ball out here. We've then got both of our attackers coming over the line, and ideally we don't want this. We just want one of them to come over the line, and then the other one's kind of in the attacking third, ready for the next phase. Our next comment that we're looking at is looking at our second phase. So this player that's received the ball here, what option did they have? So the wing attack makes a straight drive up here and then comes cuts in front, and then our centre makes a run into the attacking third. We can then look defensively at the opposition. So they set up a diamond. You can see the keeper at the back, and then we've got our two defenders on the side, and then you've got the defender marking the player, setting up that diamond shape to try and stop our players coming into this middle section. Next point to look at, looking at the goalkeeper. They're looking to fly out the circle for interceptions, and what could our shooter do better to protect that? We've then got all of our attackers are in a straight line, which we ideally don't really want, and our goal shooter is going to come out of the circle, and then we're going to have no one else in the circle that can put up any goals for us. Next part of the clip, we could put a little blanket over our attackers here. They're all in the same sort of space, so what could we do differently to open this up? Could we have someone else over the other side of the court? Could they make a different drive? And could our shooter be a bit more available in the circle? And finally, another comment to make. Again, we've got a straight line in attack for all of our attackers. We don't really want this. And we've got our defenders on the back up here. We've got a ball side option that the player could use before they lose the ball. And we've also got one across the other side of the court that could be in a different position to receive that pass. So all of that from that video analysis point of view should help our coaches to improve their performance. And we can look at that particular area, and there's loads of different areas that the team could look to improve on and to kind of help improve that for the next game. So that's what a performance analyst would actually see. So how do we actually know what to analyse? So looking at that output window again, how do we actually know what to do? So we look at our key performance indicators. And a key performance indicator is a particular statistic that is aimed to define successful performance. So this could be number of goals, shots on target, number of turnovers, any of those sort of statistics. Our key performance indicators can even be quite specific and quite tactical. So this could be looking at number of touches in the penalty area, number of 3-point shots made in basketball, and time spent running at certain speeds in particular sports. So we can have kind of really simple objective KPIs, or also our specific or tactical KPIs. And that's how we know what to analyse. So we can use those to build up our output windows and to build the feedback into our coaches. Just a quick another task for you guys. So looking at tennis, so what key performance indicators can you think of for tennis? And I'm just going to play a video from Wimbledon highlights, just so you can kind of have a think about tennis as itself. Just for 2 minutes. And again, if you can think of anything, put it in the Q&A box, and we'll go from there. So just play a couple of clips through of this. Okay, this next clip.
Save the best rally to last.
Okay, so thinking about our key performance indicators in tennis, again, if you've got any, write them down in our Q&A. But what we could look at for successful tennis performance, we could look at various different statistics. So we might look at the serving data. So how successful are the first and second serves? How many attacking shots do they play? How many defensive shots do they play? Looking at our shot distribution, so how many forehand shots do they play? How many backhand shots do they play? Where do they land on the court? And all of those different things with the shot distribution. We could look at winners and errors. So how many winners does that tennis player hit? How many errors do they make? And does that kind of indicate successful performance? We might look at other things such as rally lengths. And so maybe the shorter the rally for a particular player might be more beneficial for their performance than longer rallies. And then we could have loads of other different key performance indicators that we might look for in tennis. So that's just an example looking at a different sport to netball. So just looking at a summary, so performance analysis is an objective method for analysing performance, and it involves both statistical and video analysis. Performance analysis can be used to improve tactics, identify performance trends, support training, and prepare for matches. And performance analysts use key performance indicators to determine what a successful performance looks like and to kind of help our coaches improve performance. So that's all from our kind of tasting lecture. So I'm going to pass over to Jon now, who's going to talk about some of our sport courses at Middlesex University.
Thanks, Luke. That was fantastic. So in terms of our sport courses, we've got lots of different programs that we offer, with the main one being sports science, and then off that you would do maybe a pathway choice, which might be teaching and coaching, or strength and conditioning. And then we also offer sports rehabilitation as well. So our entry points, tariff points, are 112 for both of our programs. And then we also offer a foundation program, which we're just writing a top up. So that means that you do 2 years of foundation degree. You could get your foundation degree certificate. And it's now possible for you to complete a full degree to get a Bachelor of Arts in football development and coaching. So the entry requirements for the foundation degree are 64 tariff points. And then to get to from there onto your degree would be a merit and above within your foundation degree, and then you'll be able to access the final year at Middlesex. So in terms of how you can, I should also say we can accredit prior learning as well. So let's just say you've worked as a PT or you've had a lot of industry experience and you've gone down the work placement route quite a lot, then we can pre-accredit those experience kind of points, you call them as well. So if you don't hit the tariff points entirely, then don't let that put you off. Contact admissions and let them know what else you've done, and they'll be in touch with the program leader, and they'll be able to make a more informed decision on your program. So how could you make up your 112 or 64 tariff points? If you go to the next slide, please, Luke, then they've got lots of different qualifications that we can accredit. So the typical ones being A-levels and BTECs and higher education diplomas, even through to kind of the less known ones, maybe if you're Irish, Scottish or Welsh. And then here are some of the ideas at the bottom of that screen of how you could make up those tariff points as well. So from different A-levels and bits and pieces. So I think the best way to do it, rather than for me to talk it through, is for you to take a quick picture of that one, and then you know what we're looking for. And one of the other things that we offer at Middlesex is lots of different scholarships. So there's discounts available as well for things like significant achievements in sport. So if you are a member of a club and you play at a good level, you will get a discount off your fees there as well. And there's budgets ranging from £200 to £1,000 in order to allow you to continue to participate in your sports while you're studying at Middlesex as well. So have a look at the website at the bottom there. If you just typed in MDX and then scholarships and bursaries, you'll find a lot of these scholarships and bursaries that are available on our page at the moment. These are just screenshotted, and one of them is a slightly older one. But there are lots of different ones available to you as well. So I think that's pretty much it from us. if anybody's got any questions, then feel free to type it into the chat. But if not, we can finish it there and let you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. If it's hopefully a bit better than where I am, it's chucking it down with rain at the moment. So yeah, not great.
Thanks. So was there any other questions?
Yeah, just a quick question there. So the timetable for the course. So that's actually quite fluid at the moment. It's looking like most students will spend a day doing online learning. So there'll be pre-recorded lectures at the start of the week. So for the 4 modules that you'll study in year 1, and then there'll be 2 days on the campus towards the end of the week in order to complete the practical elements of the course. So where we did do 3 days a week, we've kind of done 1 online day, which will be a mixture of pre-recorded and some live sessions. So on Zoom. And then 2 days of in-class teaching. Hope that answers your question there, John. Super.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much everyone for coming. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the session, and thank you, Luke and John, for that. It was really interesting. I learned a lot. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming. And
there's been another question, John.
Oh yeah. If there was a day you couldn't make, is there a way you can catch up? Possibly, but we prefer you to attend those days because it is a full-time course. So yeah, you know, with you being in 2 days a week and the other day being an online day, then I think that should be fairly achievable for any full-time student to achieve those 3 days of study per week. But you could also look at part-time study, which will drop it down to 1 to 2 days a week. Super.
Yeah. I was just going to say, if anyone has got any other questions that maybe they don't feel comfortable asking publicly, is there any way that they can contact you like privately, or would maybe we can take questions through our live chat function on the website and then direct people to you following that point?
Yeah, absolutely. So my email is probably the best one. So it'd be j.creese, CREE @mdx.ac.uk.
Perfect. That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, I hope that you all have a lovely evening. Enjoy the football. And yeah, see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.